all over the place here this morning. Thank you again. Thank you, Gamazan. Thank you to the Peace Islands Institute and the Writers and Journalists Foundation. I think I'd like to argue that agriculture is sort of at the center of many of the SDGs that we've been talking about this week. I counted 8 of the 17, I believe, are kind of touched by our program and kind of what we do. One Acre Fund is a revolutionary new model that is transforming the lives of African smallholder farmers. And I first experienced the organization when I visited a pilot project in Iringa, Tanzania. I was working for a different organization at the time, and I was blown away just by the lives being changed and how farmers were improving their livelihoods through financing and credit. So we're unique in 3 ways. First, we only serve smallholder farmers, primarily in East Africa, that live off about an acre of land. While we're technically a nonprofit organization, we act more like a business. Farmers pay for the services and products that we offer. And we've intentionally built a repeatable and scalable model. We're growing very fast. We serve over 280,000 smallholder farmers, and we hope to serve 1 million by 2020. So we know that 75% of the world's population relies on agriculture as their primary economic activity. The bad news is that it's not working for hundreds of millions of farmers. They're not growing enough food to feed their families, to pay for school fees. So we have a huge challenge ahead of us. Many of these families are experiencing annual hunger seasons where they have to skip meals and substitute meals. And we're talking about folks that rely on the land. And we're talking about hungry farmers. It's somewhat of a crazy oxymoron when you think about it. Yet there is a silver lining. It's a massive problem, but we know that because so many of the world's poor share a common profession, this uniformity enables us to unlock a huge opportunity. If we can help make smallholder agriculture more productive, we can help them grow their way out of hunger and poverty. So why is One Acre Fund needed? Well, we talked a little bit about this. The annual hunger season is a period between when the previous harvest crops have been consumed, and it's before the new crops grow in. Children are especially vulnerable during this time period. Stunting rates in Africa are roughly 40%. So 40% of children under 5 will never reach their true potential. And it creates these vicious cycles of poverty. So our clients are farmers in poor and rural areas. They're mostly women. Over 60% of our clients are women. And in many districts, this is much higher. We currently operate at scale in 4 countries. We started in Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, and Tanzania. And we also have trial operations in Malawi and Uganda. So what do we provide? Well, by listening to farmers and what their needs are, we provide a comprehensive solution to enable smallholder farmers to significantly increase their productivity and grow their way out of hunger and poverty. We have a 4-part solution. The first part is financing for things like farm inputs, seeds, fertilizer, other products like solar lamps. We distribute these products directly to where farmers live, within walking distance. The third link in our chain is on training. We offer regular in-person trainings for farmers throughout the growing season. And we work on market facilitation. And by that I mean we try to help farmers minimize their food loss and food waste and help them maximize the profits they're gaining from their harvests. So I'll start with the first link. The first link is financing. So we offer asset-based loans. We do not offer cash. Farmers will typically sign up for a loan a few months before the planting season for a size that's suitable for them. The average loan size is $80 US, so it's very small, which is much smaller than your typical microfinance loan in peri-urban and urban areas. The second link, and I think this is one of the most important, is on distribution. So many of the farmers we work with live in isolated areas that are underserved by traditional commerce. And if you want to help farmers adopt new technologies, you have to bring it to the farmer. It's kind of a Norman Borlaug quote, right? So that's exactly what we do. We deliver the products and services to where farmers live. This is a map of Western Rwanda. And these 2 gold stars represent the areas where farmers could hope to buy seed and fertilizer before we started working there. Since we started working Sorry about that. Since we started working there, these pinpoints represent areas where farmers can come make orders, they can attend trainings, they can pick up their products when it's ready. And as you can see, it's much closer to where they live. This is one of our warehouses in Kenya that stores seed and fertilizer, getting ready for distribution. And we hand deliver the products through a very large logistics team. These are some of our clients receiving their fertilizer. The third link in our chain is training, and many of the farmers we work with don't use modern agricultural techniques. Many don't plant in rows, they don't space their seeds. And just with a few simple tweaks, many can double their crop productivity. So we offer regular in-person trainings. We have about 10 trainings that cover the basics of agriculture, from planting to harvesting to post-harvest management. And the last link in our chain is what we call market facilitation. By this I mean we help farmers safely store their crops so they can minimize food loss and maximize harvest profits. So I'll just introduce to you a scenario. So imagine that you're a farmer, it's harvest time, you now have more maize than you've ever had the entire year, but you go to the local market to sell it. And guess what? Everyone else has maize, and the price you get for it is really low. Or say you decided to hold on to your maize, you store it in your home, but a few months later, you realize that the maize has been infested by by pests or mold, and it's inedible and you can't sell it anymore. So this is why training on post-harvest management is really important. We help farmers safely store their crops using lots of different technologies so that they can wait for the time of year where the market will command a much higher price for their harvest. So I'll just keep going. So one of the really important aspects of our model is our flexible repayment system. Farmers can repay their loan in any amount at any time throughout the entire growing season. In 2014, we had a 99% repayment rate for our loan portfolio, and in 2 countries, we had a 100% repayment rate. We attribute this to a few factors, one of them being manageable loan sizes. I talked about the $80 average loan size last year. We offer financial training to farmers, and we provide good customer satisfaction. We have a hotline farmers can call when they're upset, and we can see right away when repayment stops that there's something wrong with the program. So just going back to the complete service bundle, it's something that our sort of bread and butter is that all of these things have to be provided together. There's been decades of NGOs focusing on one or another aspect of it, but farmers need a comprehensive solution. So without financing things like hybrid seed, fertilizer, solar lamps, they can't be afforded because they're too much of an upfront cost. Without training and market facilitation, farmers aren't able to maximize their yields and their profits. And without rural distribution, these services may as well be on the moon. They're not going to be able to penetrate rural markets. We measure our success on our ability to help farmers become more prosperous. So at the end of each year, we take a random set of 1 acre fund farmers and compare them to a random set of non-1 acre fund farmers. We find that on average, our clients make 50% more income and are able to grow a surplus harvest, many for the first time. And from that profit, it's about $130 US. What do farmers spend it on? Well, by and far, they spend it on school fees, education, investments on the farm, perhaps livestock, things that help them grow more wealth over time. Another way that we're unique is we're focused highly on scale. So not only do we want to increase impact for each individual farmer we serve, we want to serve as many farmers as possible. We currently serve over 280,000 farmers. We'll probably reach 300,000 by the end of the season. And we aim to grow to 1 million farmers by 2020, which is just around the corner. We're going to do this in a couple ways. So first, we have about a 25% district penetration rate where we currently work. That means there's 75% of farmers in our areas who could use our services that aren't. We think there's a lot of growth there. The second way is we're going to grow out. We're going to grow into new districts. We have a country expansion team that is constantly testing our work and programs in other countries, and we'll continue to expand that way. A really important part of scale is financial sustainability, and we talked a little bit about how 1 Acre Fund is a social enterprise, and what does that mean? Well, 75% of our field expenses are covered by farm repayment, so the salaries for field officers, the cost of distribution, the cost of seed and fertilizer is covered by the farmer repayment, which enables donor dollars, which cover the rest, to be stretched much farther than they would through a traditional aid program. I'll just end with a story of one of our clients, and sorry that let's try this again. Would you love for you to see her? So this is Consolata Sarengo, and she's a farmer in Matisi, Kenya, which is in western Kenya. She has a husband and 6 children, and she is currently a client of ours for several years. Before One Acre Fund, she had a very stark choice. She could either use her harvest to feed her family, or she could sell it on the market to pay for school fees. So of course she made this sensible decision and fed her family, and her kids were sent home from school every day because they couldn't keep up with the cost of education. Consolata then heard about our program, signed up just to test it out because she was curious. And in the first season, she grew 5 times as many beans as she had the previous year. So she no longer had to make that stark choice and was able to both feed her family and send her children to school. In 2012, Consolata gave birth to a baby girl and named her Ann Acre Fund after some of the positive experiences she had with our organization. But the point of this really is that she is taking the trainings, the access to technologies, the things that many of American farmers and other farms across the world take for granted, and is using them to transform her life and her communities. And so that's what we like to see, and we believe in smallholder agriculture as the future. And thank you again for your time.